A text from the real estate agent lit up my phone in the dead of night. "Annie, can you give me your fiancé's number? I missed my period this month, and I'm starting to get scared." For a few seconds, my brain refused to process the words. I stared at the screen, then slowly turned my head. Tomer was asleep beside me, sprawled comfortably across the bed, breathing deep and even, as if the world had never wronged him once in his life. So this was how I found out. My fingers trembled as I typed back, every word sharp with contempt. "You managed to get pregnant, but don't even have his number? That's impressive. And pathetic." I hit send, then swung my leg out and kicked him hard. Tomer yelped and rolled straight off the bed with a loud thud. He shot up from the floor in a panic, hair sticking out in every direction, eyes wild. "What happened? Was that an earthquake?" "Annie, we need to evacuate." I sat upright, arms crossed, staring at him like he was something I'd scraped off my shoe. "Babe." He hesitated, finally noticing my expression. "What's wrong?" Whatever he saw on my face wiped the panic clean off him. He climbed back onto the mattress cautiously. "Did you have another nightmare? What crime did I commit this time?" He reached for me, trying to pull me close. "Don't touch me," I said flatly. "Sit there. I have questions." He froze, then obediently retreated to the corner of the bed, shoulders slumped, eyes full of wounded innocence. It was a look he used often, especially when he wanted sympathy. The thought that this same man could betray me felt surreal. Until tonight, cheating had never even crossed my mind. I was about to ask him how he knew Amber when my phone buzzed again. Another message from her. "Annie, I understand denial. I get why you're lashing out. But insulting me won't change reality. You can't keep a man who doesn't want to stay. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just believe the father deserves to know about his child. Or, are you scared he'll choose me over you?" I stared at the screen, stunned. I had lived my entire life thinking shameless people were exaggerated characters in bad dramas. Apparently, I was wrong. Without a word, I tossed the phone onto Tomer's lap. "Your future baby mama is looking for you," I said coolly. "After knocking someone up, you didn't even leave your contact information. Now she's using me as the middleman." He laughed weakly, clearly convinced I'd lost my mind. "Annie, what are you talking about?" Then he read the messages. His face drained of color. "This is nonsense." He jumped to his feet. "This is slander. Who is this woman? I'll sue her." Missing a period doesn't mean pregnancy. It could be hormones, stress, anything. And even if she is pregnant, why would that have anything to do with me? I don't even know her. He turned to me, eyes glistening. "Annie, is there someone else in your life?" For a split second, I almost screamed. But then logic forced its way through my anger. For the past 2 months, Tomer had been away on a business trip with my father. He had only come back yesterday. He genuinely could not have been seeing Amber. So, why would she claim he was the father? Seeing me hesitate, Tomer leaned into the act, voice breaking. "So, it's true. You have another man. You're cheating on me before our wedding." He pulled out his phone, scrolling dramatically. "I'm calling your parents." I lunged forward and clamped my hand over his. "Don't you dare." "I have to," he insisted, though his thumb never actually hit the call button. "I'm devastated. They deserve to know." I let out a slow breath. Something doesn't add up. I took my phone back and explained everything. Over the last 2 months, I'd been house hunting nonstop for our wedding home. Amber was the agent I'd worked with the most. At first, she was attentive and friendly. Lately, though, she had started dodging my calls, passing me to other agents, always suddenly busy. When her message came in tonight, I jumped to conclusions. With that realization, I sent her another text. "Are you sure you know who you're talking to? Do you actually know who my fiancé is?" Her reply came instantly. "Annie Davis. Don't tell me you're still hoping I made a mistake." "Of course I know who your fiancé is. If you don't believe me, I'll prove it. He told me himself that I'm far more interesting than you." A photo appeared. Amber was pressed against a tall man, smiling brightly. His arms were wrapped around her waist, expression proud and intimate. But the man wasn't Tomer. It was Aiden, Tomer's cousin. Memory hit me all at once. When I first started viewing houses, Tomer had been away, so he asked Aiden to accompany me. I was picky. It was our first home. After 2 viewings, Aiden had lost his patience, complaining loudly in front of the sales staff about how demanding I was, how I was wasting everyone's time. I'd swallowed my anger then. Later, I told Tomer. He never asked Aiden to help again. I never imagined that in just 2 meetings, Aiden and Amber had crossed a line. 2 minutes later, the photo disappeared. She unsent it before I could even screenshot. Tomer exhaled in relief. See? I told you it wasn't me. I shot him a sharp look. No, but congratulations. Your cousin might be shopping for a new wife. He frowned. That's impossible. He's married. He was right. Aiden had gotten married just a year ago. And now he was sleeping with Amber. Disgust churned in my stomach. I grabbed my phone, ready to call him, but Tomer stopped me. What? You're protecting him now? I snapped. No, Tomer said calmly. But if you confront him directly, he'll deny everything. He'll probably twist it around and accuse you of stirring trouble. He knew his cousin well. So what then? I asked, frustration sinking in. We just pretend we don't know? A slow, dangerous smile crept across his face. Of course not. She came straight to you, the fiancé, to provoke you. It would be perfectly reasonable for you to respond. He was right. Amber had started this. I ignored her barrage of messages, turned off my phone, and went back to sleep. The next morning, Tomer left early for work. I took my time getting ready, calm and deliberate, before driving to the sales gallery. Amber spotted me the moment I walked in. Her lips curved into a smug smile as I headed straight for her. Another agent hurried over. Ma'am, can I help you? I pointed directly at Amber, my voice ringing through the showroom. I'm about to get married, I announced. And your employee seduced my fiancé. She claims she's pregnant with his child. Is this how your company does business? The room fell silent. All eyes turned toward Amber. To her credit, she didn't flinch. She walked toward me slowly, smile still firmly in place. If your fiancé cheated, shouldn't you be talking to him instead of attacking me? She tilted her head, voice sweet. Do you really believe the other woman is always to blame? Maybe the real problem is that your man doesn't love you enough. Her confidence rattled some of the onlookers. A woman nearby whispered, she's not wrong. Men cheat, and the wife always goes after the mistress instead of the man. Another agent stepped in gently. Miss, we're all women here. If your fiancé hurt you, maybe resolve it privately. There's no need to make this harder for everyone. Murmurs spread through the room. My fingers curled into fists, and that was when I realized this wasn't going to end quietly. I never imagined that I, the person who had been wronged, would end up painted as a desperate woman clinging to a man. As more voices tilted in her favor, Amber visibly relaxed. Confidence bloomed across her face. She rested a hand lightly on her stomach and smiled at me like a victor surveying the battlefield. Honey, she said softly, I did you a favor. I helped you see what kind of man your fiancé really is. You should be thanking me, not embarrassing yourself like this. The provocation was deliberate. She wanted me to lose control. She wanted a spectacle. And for a moment, I gave her exactly what she wanted. I stepped forward and slapped her hard across the face. The sound cracked through the showroom. A mistress will always be a mistress, I said coldly. Did you practice praising your own morals after crawling into another woman's relationship? For just a split second, I saw it. Satisfaction flashed in her eyes. Then she collapsed into tears. She covered her cheek, voice trembling as if she had been gravely wronged. This world is so unfair to women. It takes two people to make a mistake, but you only attack me. Instantly, the crowd rushed to her side. Staff and customers alike surrounded her, shielding her as though she were fragile glass. I stood there, stunned, and then it clicked. She had been steering this from the beginning. She wanted me to turn on my fiancé, to create chaos, to leave space for her to step in as the understanding, gentle alternative. Fine. If she wanted a performance, I could play too. It does take two, I said, my voice shaking as tears welled in my eyes. How do you know I haven't confronted him already? He denies ever knowing you. I raised my phone. But you were the one who messaged me in the middle of the night, taunting me. If someone provokes you like that, wouldn't you confront them? I turned to a girl standing nearby and showed her the messages. Look at what she sent me. My fiancé isn't even in town. I called him. He denies everything. What else was I supposed to do? If this turns out to be true, I added, voice breaking, I'm calling off the wedding. The girl read the messages carefully. Her expression darkened as she looked at Amber. This is disgusting, she said bluntly. If you really were wronged, you'd stay quiet, not provoke the fiancé. She read the first message aloud, word for word. Annie, can you give me your fiancé's number? I missed my period this month, and I'm starting to get scared. A murmur rippled through the crowd. That's not concern, the girl continued. That's a deliberate slap in the face. I'd lose my temper too. As she scrolled further, more faces changed. People who had been standing protectively around Amber began drifting away. Amber stiffened. She hadn't expected me to flip the narrative. Still, she forced a smile. I'm thinking about the child I'm carrying. And honestly, isn't it better you found out now? Before the wedding, I helped you dodge a bullet. The audacity was breathtaking. I let out a humorless laugh. Don't pretend this is for my benefit. I'm your client. If you cared about me at all, you wouldn't have slept with my fiancé. And now he's denying you even exist. I added calmly. Why don't you explain that? She frowned. Didn't you see the photo I sent? You unsent it before I could look properly, I replied. Since you insist he's the father, show real proof. You couldn't even get his phone number, after all. That did it. Her pride flared. I told you I don't have his number, she snapped, pulling out her phone. We talk online. She opened a chat. The name read Tomer. The profile picture was his. Before I could look closely, she pulled the phone back and tapped the video call button. My heart skipped. I reached for my own phone, doubt creeping in despite myself. Then the call connected, and the voice that filled the room did not belong to Tomer. It was Aiden. Honey, Amber said sweetly, panic layered thickly into her tone. Your fiancé is here making a scene? I'm scared. Aiden scoffed. What's there to be scared of? It's not like she's going to bite you. But you told me she doesn't matter, Amber whined. You won't just sleep with me and abandon me, right? Her performance was nauseating. She ignored the horrified stares around her, eyes locked on me, waiting for my reaction. Aiden laughed. If Annie hadn't gotten family approval first, I'd have dumped her ages ago. Let her cause trouble. If it gets annoying, quit your job. I'll take care of you. Every word echoed clearly through the showroom. Amber lifted her chin, triumphant. Pity crept into the faces around me. The girl beside me squeezed my arm gently. I pretended to stagger, disbelief written across my face, and reached for the phone. Amber stepped back. What if your fiancé comes looking for you? She asked coyly. Let her, Aiden said arrogantly. She should be grateful. She gets to marry into our family. That was it. Even Tomer had never spoken with such arrogance. Who did Aiden think he was? Before I could speak, Amber ended the call. She looked at me with thinly veiled contempt. It seems you never confronted your fiancé at all, Ms. Davis. Everything you said earlier was a lie. A woman should learn self-respect, she continued smoothly. If you cling to a man, he'll disappoint you eventually. Take this as a lesson. Men can't be trusted. This is 2025. When a man cheats, it's not just the other woman's fault. Most of the blame belongs to the man you chose. Since you can't handle him, maybe you should admit he's trash and walk away. A few people nodded. Someone nearby was filming. That's a real strong female lead, the person muttered. Calm, rational, empowering. I laughed, sharp and incredulous. Have you all lost your minds? I said loudly. Since when does sleeping with someone in a relationship qualify as strength? Getting involved with a taken man is wrong. No amount of pretty speeches changes that. And don't stand there pretending you saved me, I added, locking eyes with Amber. I don't need your lessons. And I certainly don't need your pity. I didn't hesitate. Right in front of everyone, I called the company's corporate complaint hotline. Since Tomer promised to support you financially if you quit, I said calmly, eyes locked on Amber, I assume you won't mind losing your job. To my surprise, she looked almost pleased. She even gestured for me to continue, as if she were watching an entertaining performance. So I filed the complaint on the spot, clearly and thoroughly, making sure every detail was recorded. When I was done, I placed another call, this time to Tomer's parents. I let my voice break as soon as the call connected. Auntie, Tomer has another woman. I'm ending the engagement. You'll have to look for a different daughter-in-law. I ended the call before anyone could interrupt. Amber watched the entire thing with open satisfaction. Now that, she said approvingly, is how a modern woman handles betrayal. Ms. Davis, you really should be more careful choosing men next time. And if this ever happens again, she added lightly, don't blame the other woman. The cheater is the real problem, isn't he? Her sanctimonious tone made my fingers itch. The young woman beside me hurriedly whispered, you already hit her once. If you do it again, she could call the police. I forced myself to exhale. Don't dress yourself up as some independent icon, I said coldly to Amber. A truly independent woman doesn't chase someone else's fiancé. And she certainly doesn't wait for a man to bankroll her life. I'm very curious to see whether Tomer keeps his promise. I thanked the young woman quietly and walked out. The call to Tomer's mother worked faster than I expected. My phone rang almost immediately. Annie, are you okay? Tomer asked, clearly alarmed. My mom just called screaming. She said you canceled the wedding. The anger still hadn't settled, so I told him everything that had happened at the sales gallery. He's pretending to be you, I said sharply. And he talked about me like I was disposable. What kind of person does that? Tomer snorted. Someone who has nothing of his own. That's Aiden for you. I knew he was right. Aiden had always been the family disappointment. Born into money, handed opportunities, and somehow managed to ruin every single one. Tomer's parents had tried again and again to help him, until they finally gave up. A slow idea took shape. Tomer, I said carefully, I think I want to make this mess bigger. There was no hesitation on his end. You already called my parents. That ship has sailed. Do what you need to do. With his consent, my conscience stayed quiet. I gathered everything, screenshots of my chat with Amber, a transcript of Aiden's words from the call, and posted them all in the extended family group chat, attributing every sentence to Tomer. I will not forgive Tomer for this, I wrote. Since he believes I'm lucky to marry into your family, I'll step aside and make things easier. The wedding is officially canceled. The family chat erupted. Tomer's parents replied first. Annie, dear, there must be a misunderstanding. We just spoke to Tomer. He says he doesn't even know this woman. Other relatives followed, insisting Tomer wasn't capable of such behavior, urging me to calm down. I waited until the messages piled up before responding. Uncle, Andy, I wanted to believe him too, I typed. But that sales agent called him right in front of me. I heard it myself. He said I only came first because I had family approval. If he prefers someone shameless like her, then it's best we part ways. The chat went silent. Tomer, clearly enjoying the chaos, said nothing. Then Aiden finally appeared. Bro, this isn't right, he typed. You already have Annie. How could you still mess around? She's just a real estate agent. Those women will do anything to close a deal. If she could seduce you, she could seduce anyone. You really screwed up. Annie is such a good woman. You owe her a proper apology. On the surface, he sounded like he was defending me. In reality, he was reinforcing Tomer's guilt and nudging the family toward a breakup. Tomer finally responded. I don't know that woman at all, he wrote. I would never betray Annie. Annie, someone is framing me. I immediately replied. She's pregnant with your child, and you're still denying it? That's a lie, he shot back. I've never even met her. How could she be pregnant with my child? I pressed harder. Stop pretending. She didn't get pregnant on her own. By then, Tomer's parents were panicking. They trusted their son, but the situation looked bad, and my anger made discussion impossible. Finally, Tomer typed again. If she really is pregnant with my child, he wrote, then there are only two explanations. I paused, genuinely curious. His next message appeared. Either my genetic material was obtained illegally, or I was drugged or assaulted without my knowledge. I need to call the police. I burst out laughing. Aiden clearly did not. Bro, don't be ridiculous, he replied quickly. Calling the police is extreme. If an investigation turns up anything, it could hurt the company. But Tomer's parents were already convinced. Yes, call the police, they insisted. For a simple sales agent to pull something like this, who knows what kind of criminal activity she's involved in? One by one, the relatives echoed their support. And just like that, the tide turned. Aiden tried a few more times to talk everyone out of involving the police, but once he realized no one was listening, he went silent. Not long after, Tomer sent me a private message. Babe, how was that performance? Pretty convincing, right? I replied with a thumbs up. Then I added, jokes aside, your cousin is acting strangely. He's way too eager for you to take the blame. Doesn't he feel even a little guilty? Tomer answered quickly. I noticed it too. It's like he doesn't want us to get married at all. But it doesn't matter. Whatever game he's playing, the police will dig it out. I paused, surprised. You're really filing a report? I thought you were just bluffing to scare him. My name's been dragged through the mud, and I almost lost my fiancé, he replied seriously. Why wouldn't I make it official? Before I could respond, another private message popped up, this time from one of Tomer's cousins. Annie, is this the woman you mentioned in the group chat? She's live right now, and she's using you as a case study. A link followed. I tapped it. Amber appeared on screen, broadcasting live. She was no longer in her work uniform. Instead, she wore a tight dress, carefully styled, every detail calculated. On one side of the screen, a clip of yesterday's confrontation at the sales gallery played on a loop. She spoke with practiced superiority. "Ladies, pay attention. This Ms. Davis is the clearest example of what not to become. She chooses men poorly, and when she gets cheated on, she doesn't even have the courage to confront him. Instead, she attacks another woman. It takes two people to cheat, yet society always goes easy on men. If she had any sense, she would have either walked away with dignity or quietly improved herself to win him back. This kind of behavior, attacking other women, is just embarrassing." The comments flew by at lightning speed, filled with praise. Queen energy. Empowered main character. Finally, a woman who gets it. I laughed, sharp and disbelieving. I forwarded the live stream to Tomer. "Your so-called girlfriend has turned me into a teaching prop." A minute later, he replied, "Wait, that background looks familiar. Isn't that my villa on the east side?" I leaned closer to the screen. He was right. "The one you wanted to sell because it's too far from the city?" "Yes." I put Aiden in charge of handling it. Looks like he turned it into his private love nest. Another message followed, paired with a smirking emoji. "She's streaming again tomorrow morning. Stay tuned." I returned the smirk. Whatever he was planning, I was ready. The next morning, Tomer got up early, but didn't head to work. He told me to stay home and watch the live stream. I glanced at him. His clothes were deliberately wrinkled, his hair slightly messy, dark circles visible under his eyes. I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing. Once he left, I opened Amber's stream. She was right on schedule. The same video of me played on repeat, serving as bait. I resisted the urge to report it. I wanted to see this through. Amber addressed her audience confidently. A woman's future is something she builds herself. Whether you climb by relying on a man or on your own ability depends on how smart you are. Ladies, never underestimate your value. If you want to become a strong female lead like me, join my fan group and sign up for my private coaching. I stared at the screen in disbelief. She was selling courses. On impulse, I joined her fan group. Almost immediately, an administrator messaged me, enthusiastically promoting the classes. They sent a price list. There were lessons on identifying high-value men, attracting them, maintaining emotional control, and securing long-term commitment. The detail was absurd. The admin continued, "Miss, the fees are higher, but they're worth it. Our host used these exact techniques to win Ms. Davis's fiancé. Study hard, and you'll be able to choose any man you want." I was seconds away from unloading on them when a familiar voice echoed through the live stream. "So you're the one spreading lies about me, claiming you're pregnant with my child, and trying to destroy my engagement?" I immediately switched back to the mainstream. Amber looked up startled. "Who are you? You don't even recognize me, yet you say you're carrying my child?" Tomer's voice was calm, edged with mockery. "What child? Stop talking nonsense." She froze, then forced a laugh. "Annie must have hired you. You're here to sabotage my stream," she shouted. "Huh? How did you get in here? This is illegal entry." Tomer laughed, incredulous. "Illegal entry? This is my property. You're the one trespassing. Me being here is called coming home." "I've already contacted the police," he continued evenly. "You falsely claimed to be pregnant with my child. I now suspect either illegal acquisition of my genetic material or that I was drugged and have memory loss. These are criminal matters. On top of that, you trespassed, and you used my fiancé's image without consent. The authorities will handle it." The live stream chat exploded. "What is happening? Who is this guy? Illegal sperm theft. Then whose baby is it?" Amber panicked. She insisted loudly. "The baby is Tomer's. He gave me this house. Who are you to cause trouble?" "I am Tomer," he replied calmly. "And I want answers. How did you get pregnant? And why are you trying to sabotage my relationship? And why are you in my house? You're not leaving until everything is explained." Footsteps sounded. Voices followed. 2 police officers stepped into view and informed Amber she needed to come with them. Her face drained of color. "Officers, there's been a mistake. I don't know this man. He broke into my home." "This is Mr. Carter's property," one officer said. "He has full rights here. He's accusing you of trespassing." And just like that, Amber was escorted off her own live stream. The chat went wild. Her fans were stunned. The spectators who had tuned in for drama were thrilled. and I sat back, watching the screen, knowing this was far from over. A moment later, my phone buzzed. Tomer sent a single, smug emoji, followed by a message. So, was that entertaining enough for you? I replied with a thumbs up. What happens now? We're heading to the station. We'll wait until she explains everything.
You stay home and rest. I'll update you, he answered.
I finally relaxed, sinking back into the couch. By then, someone had already screen-recorded the entire live stream and leaked it to multiple gossip platforms. A self-proclaimed influencer being escorted away by police in the middle of a live broadcast exploded across the internet. Without realizing it, Amber had achieved the fame she always wanted. Her previous clips and outrageous speeches were dug up one by one, leaving viewers stunned. So this is how mistresses reinvent themselves now. She blames the victim, protects the man, and calls that empowerment. She humiliates another woman and sells courses with it? I feel terrible for the fiancé. She got cheated on and then turned into content. Wait, people are saying the man never cheated. The guy who called the police was the real boyfriend. Then whose baby is it? Speculation ran wild. Everyone wanted answers, including me. But hours passed, and Tomer still hadn't come home. Unease settled in my chest. I grabbed my keys and drove straight to the police station. When I arrived, I froze. Tomer was there, along with his parents, Aiden and Aiden's parents. The moment Tomer's parents saw me, they hurried over, faces full of guilt. Annie, we're so sorry. Our family dragged you into this mess, his mother said quietly. Tomer didn't betray you. Please don't leave him, his father added. Their desperation made me uncomfortable. Uncle, Auntie, I understand. We're not breaking up, I reassured them softly. Across the room, Tomer stood rigid, speaking to Aiden's parents. He spread lies about me, tried to ruin my engagement, and deliberately harmed my reputation. I will not sign any private settlement, Tomer said flatly. Aiden's parents panicked. They turned to Tomer's parents in desperation. Brother, sister-in-law, please talk to him. Aiden only did this because of what you said years ago. Aiden's father cried. If you hadn't said the company would be his, none of this would have happened. You have to take responsibility. Tomer's parents looked trapped, ashamed, and silent. Tomer stepped forward, placing himself in front of them. This has nothing to do with my parents. Aiden made his choices. He faces the consequences. He'll only be detained for a few days. You don't need to make a scene. Aiden's mother broke down, shaking. A record will ruin him. Think about his children. Tomer's expression hardened. That's his own fault. Instead of begging here, you should teach your son some accountability. The door to the mediation room opened. Aiden walked out, followed by Amber. Aiden's face was twisted with rage. The moment he saw us, his eyes burned. Are you satisfied now, Tomer? Watching me get arrested? I'm reasonably pleased, Tomer replied coldly. If you hadn't crossed the line, you wouldn't be here. That was the final trigger. Aiden snapped. You've always looked down on me. I hate you for it. You were useless once too, a spoiled idiot. Why did you change? Everyone praises you now. But years ago, your parents said the company would be mine. If you were going to stay useless, you should have stayed that way. Why change for her? Why give me hope and then take it away? I wanted to drag you back down. I wanted you to lose everything. He screamed until officers rushed forward and restrained him. His parents tried to interfere, but were pushed back. Even as they dragged him away, Aiden continued shouting curses. Amber, due to her pregnancy, wasn't detained, but penalties still applied. She was also ordered to issue a public apology to me. She glared at me venomously. Why do women like you always get good men? Do you really think your fiancé is loyal just because I picked the wrong one this time? A woman who relies on men will be abandoned sooner or later. I was stunned by her shamelessness. Before I could respond, she turned to Tomer, her tone suddenly soft and sticky. That baby should have been yours. When I saw her buying a house, I thought, how does someone like her deserve a man like you? I tried to seduce you. I just didn't expect her to show up with your cousin. Your cousin lied to me. You should take responsibility, she said, moving closer. Tomer recoiled instantly. Don't touch me. You fabricated a pregnancy without ever meeting me. Who knows what you'd accuse me of if you did? Amber's smile froze. You care about her that much? Aren't you afraid she'll cheat on you? Aiden was the one showing her houses. An officer cut in sharply. Ms. Amber, continue spreading false accusations and you will face further consequences. She finally fell silent. Even after leaving the station, my thoughts were a mess. I knew Aiden had impersonated Tomer, but I still didn't fully understand why things escalated this far. Once we got home, I asked Tomer directly. He sighed and told me everything. When he was younger, he had been reckless. Fighting, skipping school, pushing limits. His parents nearly sent him away out of desperation. In a moment of anger, they once declared in front of the entire family that if Tomer didn't change, the family fortune would go to Aiden instead. Aiden took those words to heart. He grew up believing the company was his future. Then Tomer met me. He fell hard. But he felt inferior. My family was comfortable, my grades excellent, my future clear. He didn't think he deserved me, so he changed himself. He cleaned up, studied, entered the same university, and finally asked me out as a completely different person. His parents were overjoyed. Aiden was not. Tomer's transformation destroyed everything Aiden had been counting on. He resented Tomer, and he resented me even more for being the reason. When Tomer asked him to help me house hunt, Aiden saw his chance. Amber mistook him for my fiancé, and he leaned into it. He encouraged her to provoke me, to turn me into online content, to humiliate me publicly. He believed that if I left, Tomer would fall apart and revert to his old self. Then the company would finally be his. Amber had her own agenda. She never cared about stealing a man. She wanted drama, attention, and a brand. I was just material for her so-called empowerment empire. They used each other, and it all collapsed. Hearing the full story, relief washed over me. If I had really been the fragile woman Amber described, I might have fallen into her trap. 2 days later, under pressure from my lawyer, Amber posted a formal apology. It stayed up for less than 24 hours before her account was permanently banned. Former fans demanded refunds. Rumors of fraud charges followed. She had no savings, no backing, no career. That chapter ended. Aiden's family didn't fare any better. His wife, after discovering his lies and betrayal, filed for divorce immediately and terminated her pregnancy. By the time his parents learned the truth, everything was already over. When Tomer heard the news, he scoffed. He tried to destroy the woman I worked my life to deserve. He should be grateful the law handled it. He sounded arrogant, spoiled, unapologetic. And somehow, I liked him even more for it.